Hey fam, welcome to the next Shred Strong Zoom chat. I know it's summertime, so a lot of folks message me that they're biking or whatever tonight. So I totally get it. Don't worry about it. That's why I record this. That way you don't miss a beat. So today we're talking about keeping it simple because I know it's bike season. Bike season's in full swing. We're trying to milk our summer as best as possible. And I get it, same. A lot of us just don't want to spend, countless time in the gym or what have you, no matter how good it makes us feel outside of the gym and on our bike. Doesn't matter. So it's one of those things. It's a seasonal thing. Don't worry, it's an ebb and flow of life. So also, for those of you who are parents, school is getting ready to start. So this is a very real thing to consider in all of this. Kids are getting ready to start, and that's definitely going to obviously give you even more things to worry about outside of your own health. So please know, totally normal. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty at all. I know I sometimes will get messages from folks like, oh my goodness, I can't take advantage of this right now. And it's fine. If there's a month or two, totally fine. If it makes you feel any better, I go through that as well, even as a coach. I have an ebb and flow with my lifestyle and just with how things are working for me, and also some health things I was navigating after I finally got COVID back in February. So there were some things that I had to navigate in terms of an elimination diet and things like that, just to kind of help me, kind of recalibrate and get my body back up to snuff, all right, and get my energy back up where I like it. So please know you have to give yourself grace. So today I wanted to talk about, let me look at my notes, 5 things just to kind of keep in mind when it comes to considering keeping things simple. Okay. So first thing, it's easy to get overwhelmed. Yeah, embrace that. The first thing is to take it one day at a time. And don't forget to celebrate what you actually managed to get done, even if it seems like the smallest task possible, because it's worth patting yourself on the back and recognizing that hard times that you might encounter, especially as life gets lifey, because life will get lifey, and we just kind of have to respect that ebb and flow. So that's the first thing, is just take it one day at a time, and don't forget to celebrate even the smallest of tasks that you manage to get done. Okay. The second thing is give yourself grace. Like I mentioned earlier a moment ago, life is full of seasons, and we have seasons that we can do a lot more. And then we have seasons that we just kind of have to put things on the back burner and do a little bit less of. And sometimes that includes us doing less of the things that we absolutely love, like biking and working out, and gym time or friend time or things like that. Okay. Just because other things have to take a priority. And I kind of laugh at the concept of finding balance, because honestly, balance isn't a finished state. Finding balance and seeking balance is an evolution. It's a verb. It's not really a state of being. It's a static state of being. Rather, it's more of a dynamic state of being. Okay, and really, when we find balance, sorry, Milo made a noise. When we find balance in our life, it's really just a matter of give and take, a matter of figuring out what you want to do a little bit less of and what you want to do more of. So give yourself grace. Please know that life is full of seasons, and there's going to be times when you can do more and times when you can do less, right? But just be gentle with yourself, and don't give yourself such a hard time, because imagine giving your best friend a hard time, or a parent a hard time, or someone whom you really care about. Imagine giving them a really hard time, like you're giving yourself a hard time in between your ears and this brain here with that self-talk. Okay, so go easy on yourself. Give yourself that grace. All right. The third thing, and this is kind of my recommendation that's universal, whether you're a parent, single, a dinkwad like I am, whatever it is for you and your current status, choose 1 to 2 days a week when you can definitely manage to get in about 20 to 30 minutes of just some strength training. Okay. Every bit helps. And I think sometimes we get that all or nothing mindset or mentality going, and it can do us a disservice. All right. And I want you to just get better about abandoning that all or nothing mindset and just embracing instead of thinking about what you're unable to do or what you can't do, think about what you're able to do and what you can do. And this goes for injury, schedule, time, energy, all of that stuff, stress, life, all of that is something to consider when it comes to, you know, choosing that time that you have available. All right. Do what I really recommend is, keeping it short and simple, hence the name today for today's little chat. But do the warm up, for example, and do the main superset, maybe even, the next two supersets, whatever it is after you do a quick little warm up. Manage whatever you're able to do in that moment. All right. And that's it. Call it a good day. All right. Something is going to be better than nothing instead of this all or nothing mentality. Okay. So that's the third thing. So the fourth thing is bike rides are happiness. All right. Right now that the sun is out, I know right now here in Denver, unfortunately, the sun's not going to be out past 8 p.m. Much anymore. Right now, it's 7:14, 7:15 right now. So it's getting darker earlier, unfortunately. And we're not going to see the sun past 8 p.m. not until like next spring. And that's going to be the case for quite a few of us. I know for those of you in Europe and Canada, please know I'm not rubbing this in. I'm just saying, it's kind of a factual situation right now. But the time change is happening. Okay. So the sun is shifting, things are changing. And getting outside and enjoying the sun as much as you can and milking that sun as much as you possibly can is going to bring you some happiness. Plus, having some sun on your skin is so beneficial for your overall health and mindset and mental health. And I want you to embrace those happiness watts because bike rides are happiness, and being on bike you're generating happiness watts. And time spent outdoors as much as you're able to right now, especially if you don't do winter sports. Like I don't do winter sports really. I don't really ski or snowboard. I used to snowboard, but then we got Milo and he has a little bit of separation anxiety. So it's a little difficult. And then I-70 became a parking lot. So we just kind of gave up on snowboarding, unfortunately. But I might get back into it a little bit more. But if you don't do winter sports, now's the time to really embrace your time outside. All right. Become a lizard, become a chameleon, get outside as much as you can. But, please enjoy those bike rides. Don't feel guilty about not doing as much strength training as you normally do. Again, seasonality, give yourself grace. All right. It all works together. And then the fifth and final thing is if all else fails, do the desk mobility sequence. All right. It only takes about 3 to 5 minutes tops. You can actually do it, as many times as you want to through it. I've done it like a couple times through. It takes maybe like 5 minutes tops. Feels really good. And quite honestly, even just doing like a minute as much as you can get through is going to feel really beneficial, especially if maybe you have some tightness and just need to get a little bit of neck stretch in. But doing the desk mobility routine and that flow can help you give your body just a little bit of love if you're not able to maybe make it into the gym, or also if you're not able to make it out on a bike ride. So these are all things to consider. And please know that even though it's a mobility sequence, it is technically not a strength sequence. There are going to be movements in there like that scap press and things like that, that scap squeeze that can add a little bit of a positive spin on your body in relation to the position that you're on the bike. Okay. So it's a good thing. It is a form of self love. So I know self love is kind of one of those words that's thrown around uh, willy nilly like, but there is some validity to it, especially when it comes to actually, releasing some stress and relieving yourself of some stress. So if you can't make it to the gym or even make it for a bike ride, or if you wanted to make it to the gym, you weren't able to that day, great. Just do that 3 to 5 minute flow and see how your body feels. All right. And let me know. Let me know if you like, dislike, anything you don't like about it, anything you're confused about. Maybe I wasn't clear on something. Let me know because this is how I make it better. Okay. So I'm going to finish out and wrap this up by saying a very popular James Clear, Atomic Habits type of mindset statement. And that is that I want you to remind yourself that a 1% difference each and every day does add up to massive changes and massive results. So think about just as an example, think about the first time you lifted weights. And for some of you, the first time you lifted weights was actually in this program for Shred Strong, which is so awesome. It makes me so happy. Like, I get a little teary eyed when I think about it. So think back on the first time that you lifted weights and what was the weight that you were lifting? Was it something lighter? And then compare it to what you're able to lift now. All right. Even if you're doing a band routine or body weight routine, think about how much easier things are feeling now compared to when you started, or how much you've progressed since you started. All right. And I don't want you to think back on now, if you have been lifting a long time, like I have, I know there's quite a few of you in here who have done that as well. I don't want you to think back on lifetime PRs or anything like that and start to feel guilty. That's not the point of this conversation or this reminder. This is more of a point of recognition of how far you've come from when you very first started with your training and lifting weights and things like that. And I want you to reflect on that. And I really want you to embrace that. Compare it to now. How different do you feel? How much can you lift more? How much more comfortable do you feel in this movement? And you know, you can't, and you likely didn't expect to be lifting that weight that you're lifting now back then when you started, right? No, like I wouldn't have thought that, I was going to be deadlifting like 250 to 300 pounds. Back, like back when I started, like I didn't think that I could just start at that weight, right? Just using it as an example, because that's just unrealistic to think that we can just start at the heaviest weight possible, right? However, that's the same type of mindset that we think that we're capable of when it comes to other habits and building other habits. And I really want us to work on flipping the script. I want you to work on flipping the script and recognizing how far you've come and how far you can go. And just know that you have to start somewhere. And if you build little tiny habits and progress onto that day by day, right? 1% a day, it can really add up to something that's very monumental and very different than what you had before and what you started with, right? So again, just pause and think, why do we think that you can do that same thing with everything else in your life? Why do you think that you can, just have everything perfect right out of the gate? It's just not possible. Besides, perfect doesn't really exist, right? Okay. I'm going to end on that. This week, this month really is going to be a short one, just kind of touching base. I didn't have any questions submitted to me. I'm going to actually start sending out the email just a little bit late or a little bit earlier, like a reminder email whenever we do the Zoom call, and then ask you to reply back. Just send an email back. That way it's easier, because sometimes that might be easier than actually messaging in the app, especially since Monday's a rest day and things like that. And some of you are busy riding on Sunday. But I think that would be a good place to kind of start and make some changes there. All right. Making shift happen. Uh, don't. Anyways, I hope you all have a beautiful evening and a beautiful rest of your week. And if you're riding SBT gravel, let me know. I may or may not be there. I thought I was actually getting sick yesterday in the evening, but then I don't know, I woke up feeling okay. So now I'm just confused on what I'm doing. But also, I haven't really trained for it because of just everything that's kind of going on with the long COVID situation and things like that. But I think I'm okay. So I might go for it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Regardless, I paid for my registration. It goes to a good cause. I don't care. I hope you all have a beautiful evening and a beautiful rest of your week, and I'll catch you next month. Stay tuned for that date to be determined, and let me know if you have any questions in the meantime. All right. Keep it simple, friends. Keep it simple.